I think the Fed's pretty stubborn. I don't think they're going to shift what they're going to do one iota. I think that this is a strong argument they ought to go 50 basis points instead of 25. But I expect they'll mollify the hawks and only go 25. I think they'll stick on that for now and adjust later if they have to. But I think if they were forward thinking, they'd go 50 because I tend to disagree with some of your former pundits who were on here earlier. I think this is a really big deal. I think anybody who's betting on this being the last strike to occur in the Middle East is probably waging a very risky bet. I think that the fact that they could hit Saudi like this is not surprising. I think the air defense systems in the Middle East are overrated, except for potentially Iran. So I would expect they're going to make another attempt to hit them again. And I don't think the world is well prepared to ramp up production to make up for any differential, especially if this goes on longer than people think it's going to go on, which it could. I saw an article this morning that said that there could be some capacity off for months, not weeks. I hope that's wrong. But everybody thinks shale is this incredible game changer, and it's true in one respect. It does bring on a whole lot of supply that we didn't have before. But one place they're wrong is you can't just ramp up production from the Permian Basin overnight. It takes years to add a whole lot of production. It's a long process, and it's very difficult.
George, it's Julia LaRoche. I want to turn from energy and talk about trade. U.S.-China trade talks are set to resume next month with the 2 tariff concessions last week. Do we think that we might finally reach a deal here? What do you think?
I think there's a chance we could get a partial deal. I think that both parties are highly motivated to reach some kind of agreement. I think Trump, based on political factors, and the Chinese, based on some severe pain they're having in their economy that they'd prefer not to undergo. But a comprehensive deal which defends our intellectual property and stops all the theft and stops all the rules where we have to basically give the Chinese a cut of any positive business our companies are doing in China. I don't see that in the near term. I think there's too much resistance on both sides. I would hope we could get half a loaf or even a quarter of a loaf so we make some progress and the markets get mollified and the economy stops having incremental damage to it. But I think that's the best we can hope for.
Hey, George, Brian Chung here. So if we could just kind of switch gears to equities and these new stocks that are coming out. It seems like Uber and Lyft weren't just it. WeWork obviously being the big one that's caught a lot of headlines in the past few weeks. And now we've actually got another kind of talent-based IPO coming out this morning. So, I mean, what does the IPO market look like right now? Is it still kind of frothy? Do you see attractive investing opportunities? What do you kind of see in that space?
I think it's like trying to go to the blackjack table in Vegas myself. I think that anybody playing those stocks is just gambling with their money. You know, there's this kind of urban myth that IPOs just go straight up once they come out. And the reality is most IPOs finish the first trading day at or below their offering price. And I think you've seen that in Uber and Lyft. These are businesses that lose gobs of money. And you see SoftBank investing in WeWork at a $47 billion valuation. Now they're talking about bringing it public at a $20 billion valuation. So I think the vision fund investors are gagging right now in terms of how SoftBank's deploying their money. And you see Palantir pull their IPO. So I think that these companies are doing a great job raising a lot of equity capital they can use to keep on keeping on. But anybody investing in them, you're just rolling the dice. It's not a sure thing. In fact, it's pretty much the opposite of that. It's very, very risky.
George, what would you suggest that WeWork do? Should it pull the IPO?
I would. Yeah, I'd postpone it. I'd wait till the market conditions are better and you've got some better numbers to show the market. The problem is there's not a whole lot of evidence their business model is working, that as they ramp up their revenues that their losses are shrinking. The losses are kind of growing right along with the revenues. So I would regroup if I were them, but they're not calling me night and day asking for my counsel on this. So
we will pass along your advice, George.